أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها المزمل قم الليل إلا قليلا نصفه أو انقص منه قليلا أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين، واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Peace be with you, dear viewers, and welcome to another episode of Tajweed al-Quran al-Hakim. In this episode, inshallah, we will read Surah Al-Falaq, and again, as usual, we will mention some of the ahkam, or the main ahkam, or the main places where mistakes are usually made. We'll start by reciting the whole surah as usual, and then we'll begin to explain things, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق. حرف الراء here is مفخم برا برب الفلق. Now here we have قلقلة, which we probably didn't have time to explain too much about. You see the light blue color on حرف القاف. This means you should move the letter very slightly because it is sakin. It has sukoon because it's at the end of the ayah. So as if it has this small circle on top of it. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Now if we were to recite without stopping at the end of the ayat, it will change obviously. So it will be قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب. For example, so we would have to move the حروف with the right حركات. So قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق. Again, حرف الخاء is مفخم ما خلق. Now, as we have said, we are not going to explain every single hukum. And some of the ahkam do not have colors, but we're mainly going over the colors, so we memorize the colors and we know how to deal with these colors when we see them. But there are many ahkam that do not have any colors. For example, idhar, which we talked about in the last episode, we gave the example of Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. There's no color on the noon. It's normal, it's black, which is the color that's used in the writing. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So there's no color, but you have to do idhar. وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ. Again, notice the إخفاء. وَمِن شَرِّ. It's not وَمِن قِيلَ, for example. وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ. Again, it's a difficult word because it has tafkhim, which is the dark blue color, and it's not very easy to see the difference. وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ. Now, the kasrat under the harf al-qaf, tanween al-kasr, غَاسِقٍ, you have to actually say the noon because there is alif after the noon. So the hukm for the noon here is idhar. And when you see a غَاسِقٍ, it's exactly as if there's a noon after harf al-qaf. غَاسِقٍ. So just imagine that there is a noon there and pronounce it because the letter after it is hamza or alif, which makes the noon have hukm al-idhar. وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ. Again, harf al-ba is sakin because we have stopped at this word. So you must, I remember one of the brothers mentioned a good way of explaining this, and this is why we said it's important to give feedback and to give advice. He said one thing that I have found useful when explaining this to people is using the word bounce as if there's a slight bounce on this letter, which I found to be quite useful because this is exactly what it is. It's not a fatha and it's not a kasra. It's as if there's a slight bounce or vibration or echo or what have you. So you say وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ. You feel that slight bounce. This is exactly what we mean when we say qalqala. And again, one of the reasons for this, as we have probably mentioned already, is to make clear what letter you're saying. For if you were to say waqab, you don't know what that last letter was. But if you say waqab, it's clear that you said harf al-ba. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. Again, harf al-dal is muqalqal. Inshallah, we will explain the letters of qalqala and we'll give brief explanations and brief words or sentences that you can remember to know which huruf have qalqala, which huruf have ikhfa, which huruf have ghunna, and all the rest of it. There's very useful sentences and words that you can remember. And we'll come to this later on when we explain the ahkam in detail, but we'll give you an example because this is a very simple example to know what we mean when we say this. For example, when it comes to qalqala, you remember the phrase qutub jad. Qutub jad. So how many letters there are here? Qutub jad. So there are 5 letters. So you know these letters always have qalqala when there is sukoon. So falaq, this is harf al-qaf, qutub. Let's say ifrat, for example. Kalimat ifrat. When you say ifrat, there's a qalqala on harf al-ta, qutub, the second letter of qutub. So you can't say ifrat because you don't know what the last letter was. Ifrat, that last bounce, this is the qalqala on harf al-ta. Qutub, the third letter is harf al-ba, and this is clear in the same surah. إذا وقب. And then you have jad, harf al-jeen. Harf al-jim, يجتمع, for example, in the middle of the word. It doesn't have to be at the end of the word, the sukoon. يجتمع. You can't say يجتمع and do some sort of idgham. يجتمع. Inshallah, this is clear. And the last letter, qutub jad. So harf al-dal, which is وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ, and you have the qalqala. So this is a brief explanation of how to recite the surah, inshallah. Moving on to Surah Al-Ikhlas, which we should have probably mentioned before this surah, but as we're going back in reverse order, it's time to mention it now. So let's read this surah. Now this surah, I'm going to read it in wasl and with wuquf as well. So I'm going to read one ayah at a time, and I'm also going to read it in one go. Noting that we have in ahadith Ahlul Bayt, peace and blessings be upon them, in the narrations of Ahlul Bayt, peace and blessings be upon them, it is makruh to read Surah Al-Ikhlas in one breath, and with the basmala and everything, without stopping at any of the ayat. But we will do this to show the style of recitation. The main reason being, as we've probably explained in the past few episodes, is that people don't seem to stop when they're reciting during salat or during salah. So you hear, this is the typical way that people usually recite. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Something like that, especially when they're in a hurry. Obviously, this is not a good way to recite. You don't know, you're not listening and paying attention to the meanings. You're not, you don't have any connection and any passion towards the recitation. Therefore, the salah does not have that much value at all. And we'll bring some narrations of this. Inshallah, in the coming episodes, maybe in the next 3 or 4 episodes, we'll bring you a narration at the start of the episodes from Ahlul Bayt, peace and blessings be upon them, about the recitation of the Quran and how to recite, and what things to bear in mind, and the connection one must have when he is reading the Quran. Not to just read as if it's a newspaper or something like that. Not that anyone reads newspapers these days. Anyway, so قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ. Let's recite by stopping at the end of the ayat, and then we'll recite in one go, and we'll talk about this surah inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Now this is reciting one verse at a time. Notice the difference at the end of the verses when you're reciting in one go. Also, I will recite the basmala from the following surah, which is Surah Al-Falaq, so that I will do wasl with the last ayah as well. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So notice the harakat at the end of the ayat, how they have changed when you do wasl. Now, as we have said, when you're reciting in that quick style, you can't say قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ, because you have done wasl. So you must say قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ. And we'll explain this inshallah. So قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. If you were to stop, Allahu Ahad, you do the qalqala, because it's one of the letters of qutb jad. So it has sukoon in the case that you stop at the end of the ayah. If you are not to stop, and also moving on first of all, Allahu Samad, Allahu, notice lafz al-jalala, notice how it changes now when we do wasl. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ. A lot of people, when they hear you recite in this manner, they say this is incorrect. It's not Allahu Samad, it's Allahu Samad. Yes, but if you are to recite it in one go, you have taken the previous word. We said that lafz al-jalala, Allah or La, depends on the previous word. So when you say قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ and you stop, Allah now becomes the first word. So Allahu Samad. You can't say Allahu Samad because it's the first word. You're not saying anything before it. If you are to say something before it, you're going to say Ahadun, correct? Now that you have said Ahadun, you done tanween al-dhamm, it's as if there's a noon with sukoon on top of it. So you're saying Ahadun. So following that, you have lafz al-jalala. Now lafz al-jalala, we said, if before lafz al-jalala, or may not have said, but we'll mention this now, before lafz al-jalala, if you have a kasra, like, for example, fillah, let's say, fillah, or billah, let's say billah, because it's one letter. Billah, so before lafz al-jalala you have ba maksura, bi. Billah, you can't say billah, correct? So you say billah, this is kasra. This is more obvious than this hukum. If there is a sukoon, for example, qul, qulillahu a'zam, for example, qulillahu. Now there's sukoon, qul. Same thing with ahadun. Ahadun is sukoon. Yes, there's dhamma, but it's two dhammat, which makes tanween al-dhamm, i.e. there is a noon with sukoon on it. Exactly the same thing. Ahadun, the same way you would pronounce it. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ. Notice, أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ. Now, why do we say أَحَدُنِي? We said the noon has sukoon, it doesn't have kasra, correct? أَحَدٌ, so we should say قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ. No, أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ. There isn't a kasra, but we must do a kasra. Why? Because لمنع التقاء الساكنين. They say because two sukoons cannot come together. You can't say أحد الله الصمد. This is not Arabic. So when you have two sukoon, there must be a harakah. And usually this harakah is a kasra. There are some instances when it becomes a fatha. We'll inshallah come to this. But for now, this becomes a kasra to stop التقاء الساكنين, for two sukoon to meet. So قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ. And the rest is more easy and straightforward. Allahu as-samadu lam yalid wa lam yulad. Again, you have a lot of qalqala, which is the main hukum in this surah. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Notice, wa lam yakul lahu. It's not wa lam yakul lahu, and it's not wa lam yakun lahu. And it's not something in between. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ. Nothing like that. The noon, as we have explained, when you see this color, the gray color, idgham, وَمَا لَا يُلْفَظ. You should not pronounce any gray colors when you see these. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ. Ignore the noon totally. Imagine it just says yaku. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ. And harf al-lam, you do not prolongate it for 1 second. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ. That's it. Now, lahu, notice there's that small, as if it's a small waw. This is exactly like a normal waw. So when you see harf al-waw, it means that you should prolongate it for two harakat, i.e. 1 second. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٍ. It's not lahu kufuwan ahad, and it's not وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٍ. Lahu, exactly as if there's a waw. أعوذ lahu. Inshallah, this is understood. And sometimes this small waw has another sign on it, and we'll explain this prolongates it even more. We'll explain this inshallah in the future. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٍ. Not كُفُوًا أَحَدٍ, كُفُوًا أَحَدٍ. And if you were to join it with the next ayah or the next surah, it will become أَحَدٌ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ. Again, this is mainly done during recitation, normal recitation, not during salah. As we have mentioned, it's preferred that you read each ayah on its own by making the regular stops at the end of the ayat, and not to read all in one breath or all in one go, and to listen and to pay attention to what you're actually reading and reciting, and try to understand it as much as possible during the recitation, inshallah. Inshallah, we will read Surah Al-Masad in the future episodes, inshallah, and then carry on reading the surah after that. Maybe 2 or 3 more episodes reading short surah to try to perfect the way that we read during salah. And inshallah, after that, we will go to the main sharh, or the main ahkam, and we will try to keep things as brief as possible, inshallah. So we do not overcomplicate things, and we make things very simple because it's very important to learn the correct tajweed so that we recite in the right manner, inshallah. هذا وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين. Peace be with you, dear viewers, and may Allah's peace and blessings be upon the Holy Prophet and his progeny. Ahl al-Bayt, peace and blessings be upon them, whom the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him and his progeny, has said, they shall never be separated, the Quran and my pure progeny. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us of those who benefit from the knowledge of the Quran and Ahl al-Bayt, peace and blessings be upon them. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.